to my husband, I'm ready to go to Canada for a trip because I need cool weather.
Connie in the house.
Once they open the borders. Hi, Connie.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
I guess so.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
All right. What do we usually do, Patrick? We wait a little bit or?
Yeah, if you're ready, we can go ahead. I'll keep watching I'm also getting some dinner ready too, so I'm gonna multitask a little bit here. I have to prepare the hamburger meat for tonight.
Oh, good for you. Okay, so I can share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What am I doing? All right. That is not right. How am I going to share my screen, Patrick? Like all my choices are not the right choices. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Never mind. Okay. There we go. There we go. Center mode. Okay, we're good. Now, my only problem is when I do this, I don't know that I can read the chat boxes. So I'm going to need somebody to do that for me.
I'll watch the chat and a lot of people coming in. How about that? Because if you're like me, you get OCD. You see it, you're like, you stop.
Okay. Oh, I see how I can see it at top. Okay. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. All right. Well, we're going to talk about compound schedules of reinforcement. I'm Karen Brunner. I am a school psychologist. I've been one for 25 years. Worked most exclusively with ED population. And I currently work in a large urban school district as the coordinator of the self-contained program for our ED K through 8. So I will be a BCBA soon. I'll be sitting for the exam the first week in June. So I'm a student like the rest, like all of us. And I'm just trying to make sense of some of these terms, you know? So, all right, well, the first activity is going to be a little Zoom participation. So what I want you all to do is enter what you would be doing right now if you weren't joining this presentation. And then the second part to that would be you're going to add a number. So 0 through 5 on how familiar you are with compound schedules of reinforcement. So a 0, never heard these words before. A 1, I've heard them, but they sound like a foreign language. 2, I know a few facts about them, but I need to learn more. 3, I know some of them solid, but I get other ones mixed up. 4, I'm very familiar with it in theory, but I get tricked up with applications and examples. And 5, I could give this presentation. So while you guys are doing that, I will say that my activity I would be doing right now if I wasn't on Zoom with you is I would be watching TV with my husband and drinking wine. And my number is 4. You know, there's still some of those tricky things when it comes to, you know, examples. So that is why I asked Patrick if I could do this presentation, because I really feel like creating these PowerPoints really helps solidify the concepts. So I really just encourage you to do the same for any of those concepts that trip you up or whatever. You know, if you, let's say, generative learning and behavior costs and pivotal behavior, that maybe that trips you up, create some PowerPoints. You know, if you're bold enough, do a presentation on it and know that it helps you learn the material better. So in the long run, you will benefit from that. All right, Patrick, what are some of the activities you're seeing there?
We got watching TV, going for a walk, some multitaskers, some studiers, some exercising, lots of 2s, 3s, and a 4. I put a 5 because I actually did give a presentation on this several times.
No doubt. That's why I
giving myself
that's why I keep you in my circle, Patrick. All right, nice. Okay. So what are compound schedules of reinforcement? So you already know what FR, VR, VI, FI are, and continuous reinforcement. So compound schedules are just combining these at the same time, okay? And then several of the reinforcement schedules are all, I said that, working at the same time. Hold on, let me get Sierra is joining us. These can happen naturally. We can also create this. Hi. Does someone have a question? No? Okay. All right, welcome to all of you that just joined us. We just started, so you didn't miss anything. This is the first content slide. Okay, so I was saying that for compound schedules, we tend to, we can create the schedule when we want behavior interventions in place, but they can also just happen naturally. And there are 7 different types of compound reinforcement schedules. So I usually start by grouping them into the different types. And then, so the first one is concurrent because it stands alone. And then we have multiple and mixed, and chained and tandem go together, and then alternative and conjunctive go together. So I have combined those because they have some similarities in them, and it just makes it easier for me rather than having to remember 7. All right. I've been told I go kind of fast through stuff. So you'll have to speak up or tell Patrick that I need to go back to a slide or I need to slow down. Okay, so concurrent schedule. This is what we're doing right now, okay? So that activity that you put in the chat box at the beginning, for those of you who just joined us, we added into the chat box what we would be doing right now if we weren't on the Zoom, okay? So that activity is less reinforcing because you chose to join Zoom instead, okay? So it's the activity that I said I would be doing is watching TV and drinking wine with my husband. So although that's very reinforcing, right? It's way more reinforcing to me to pass this exam. okay? The MO is strong, y'all. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do. And so I imagine that's why you're all on here too, because we got to get this figured out. So let's see. So basically you have two different behaviors with this one. And so mine would be watching TV or being on Zoom. They are independent of each other. And you could do either, okay? And they're offered at the same time. So basically this is where you get a choice, and it's matching law. Whichever one is more reinforcing at the time is the one you are more likely to do. Okay, and so then the concurrent schedule is what all of the schedules of compound reinforcement we use for behavior intervention, but the concurrent one is the one that we can use for reinforcer assessment. Okay. Any questions on concurrent?
One thing that helps me out, Karen, is like I have two independent schedules at the same time. Simultaneous is a huge word here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have matching law.
Right.
Because I need to choose which one's more reinforcing. That's where power of choice comes in. Versus multiple, they're successive. One's after the other.
So this is, you could do this or you could do that, right? Two different behaviors. So that's why this one stands alone on its own. And this is the one it just tends to happen naturally in your day. Okay, so
Karen, can I add on to that?
Yeah, please.
So not to confuse with alternative, because that is also, you can do this or that. Another big difference is the reinforcer, right? With concurrent, you get a different reinforcer in the end. So I can sit here and talk to you, or I can sit here and drink my water. So that's a big difference between those two, the consequence.
Yes, that is, and isn't also the alternative one behavior, right? It's one behavior and you do it. Well, I'll go
and
into
one
that
reinforcer.
And one reinforcer, right? Yep. So, yeah, I hope that's all, clearing up for you as we go through these. The next one, or the next two, are, I call them the M&Ms, okay? So multiple and mixed. So with these guys, you're gonna do alternating, or the schedules are gonna be alternating, and the order does not matter, okay? And they, I think they're successive, okay? So one happens after the other, and they're independent. One does not impact the other. And this is the same behavior, okay? So concurrent is the only one with the two behaviors. This one and the rest have one response. So in multiple, there is an SD. So I know what I'm getting reinforced for. And then in the mixed, you don't know what you're getting out of your behavior. So on a mock, when it says like you'll get this reward if you do this behavior, it's multiple. Okay, so the learner knows what they're getting. Okay, and the learner knows when they're getting it because they see, the SD is in place. Otherwise, mixed is like, I don't know what's happening right now. So an example of this is when you go to a conference and you can sign up for any sessions that you want to, right? And your SD could be the room where you go into, okay? So for a multiple, you would go in and let's say the room is set up with round tables, okay? So the one behavior is talking, all right? So the round tables would a room with round tables would suggest it's probably fine if I talk to the people right around me, right? Probably not fine if I get up and walk during the presentation over to another table, right? You're kind of confined there. But if you walk in and it's like a small room and there's only like maybe 8 of you in there, then it's probably fine to ask the presenter some questions, right? It's a little more intimate setting. But if you walk in and it is this huge auditorium with 2,000 people, that's your SD to say that it's probably not okay to ask questions, right? So it's just kind of like your signal of how you can behave in that situation, right? And I have more examples towards the end. We're going to do a little quiz, and so we'll go through some more examples of all of these. Okay. Any questions on multiple and mixed? Good.
I have one question.
Yeah.
I was wondering, when I was an inclusion teacher, I used to see a teacher kind of walk around the room, and sometimes she'll put like M&Ms on students' desk. So that would be considered like mixed because they didn't know if it was coming or not, right? Because she just, sometimes you just never know when she was going to do it, so that would be like mixed, right? Am I?
It's kind of like substitute teacher behavior. That's why I see it. Like the teacher in the classroom, you have that reinforcement every day. She's your SD. You get the high five, you get the M&M, you get the pat in the back, whatever works, but she's your SD for reinforcement. A sub comes in today, or the para works the classroom today. Now your reinforcement's all mixed up. Your SD's not there. So you're not going to get the same reinforcement and you don't know what's going to happen. I'm sorry, that's how I try to put mixed together, is that substitute teacher kind of thing.
Okay. I was just wondering if it was mixed because you just didn't know if you were going to get anything, but I guess the teacher would still be the SD.
Yeah, teacher,
you're missing your SD.
right? And then in your example, that might be a VR, just a VR, right? Okay. So I don't know how many times it's going to take for me to get that M&M or Skittle. So I'm going to keep trying, right? So not necessarily 2, like overlapping ones, but that sounds like a VR.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Connie. Okay, so chained and tandem. I think of these as the bicycle pair, right? So you have a tandem bike, and bikes also have a chain. So that's how I put them together in my mind. So they're exactly the same, except chained has an SD. Okay, so think chaining behavior steps. They are successive and order matters. Okay, so remember we said on some of them that it was random. Order does not matter, right? This order matters. And then your reinforcement you get is at the end of the chain. Okay. So an example of this would be, think back to your high school days when you had a schedule, right? And you had all these classes you had to go through, right? So a chained would be your class schedule. So each class is a different SD, right? And each class, it tells you where you're supposed to go next, right? And so it's not okay to just walk out of class early and show up at the next class, right? And it's not okay to just skip over a class to get your day done sooner. You have to go through the entire schedule the way it's written out. So, and then each teacher in classroom is your SD. So then you're sitting in class and you think, okay, after this is over, I go out and I go down the stairwell and then I go into my math class, right? See how they trigger the next thing. So a Tandem is there's no ST. So it's basically trial and error. You know there's some sort of pattern there. You know there's something you're supposed to do. There's an exact way you're supposed to do it, but there's no signal on what you're supposed to do next. So a corn maze is a great example of this. You know, you go in, you know there's an exit somewhere, and you turn, and then you get blocked, and then you come back, and you have to kind of just figure your way out. That's what a tandem schedule is, and they are rarely seen in applied settings because it causes a lot of frustration with the learner. Okay. All righty, so the last two I just call the Tibs because they end in TIV. So for these, they're presented at the same time, and you need the interval and the ratio schedules at play. That would be, that'll be your hint in mock questions when you have that, and then you see either or you see both. You don't have to be too concerned with SD or no SD for these. Okay, really you just look for the either or the both. And then like Penny was saying, for reinforcement, it's a different requirement for each one. So reinforcement after for alternative is after you meet one of those. Okay, so you meet the first one of the two and you get reinforcement. And then for conjunctive, you have to reach both of them in order to get the final reinforcement. Okay. All right, are we ready for to quiz ourselves? All right, here we go. Let me see, I want to read them to you. So, okay. So Miguel comes home from school. Both his parents are home. His dad asks if he wants to play basketball in the driveway for the next 30 minutes. Miguel's mom says if he empties the dishwasher right away, he can have 5 of her hot, out of the oven empanadas. Which type of schedule is likely in place? Go ahead and put it in the chat box.
It's look like my 3rd grade report card. Lots of D's here.
Patrick. Okay. All right. The answer is indeed D. So it's a concurrent schedule because there's 2 schedules that are available simultaneously for 2 different behaviors. Okay, so he is making a choice between the 2 of those. All right, sounds like you guys have that one down pat. Okay, so number 2, Dr. Shaw is proud of his brand new sports car. The dealership informed him that it requires oil changes every 3 months or 4,000 miles. When he remembers to bring it in on time, the car dealer gives him a free car wash and a $10 gas card. What type of reinforcement schedule is in place for Dr. Shaw? Okay. It is alternative. As long as one of those two schedules are met, the reinforcement is delivered, right? So I didn't find any events about 3 months or 4,000 miles. Okay, so Riley has learned.
Sorry, we have a question.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I have a question.
No, go ahead. Is it Lauren?
Yes.
Yes, it's me.
Okay.
So does that mean I'm trying to figure out, like, because it's multiple schedules of reinforcement. So would that be an FI and a VI together?
Let me go back for a second. Okay.
And
So yes, you would have well, every 3 months, so it would be an FI, right? And then FR. So it just has to be interval or ratio. It doesn't really have to be fixed or variable.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
okay. Okay, so Riley has learned to wash his own clothes. He can successfully complete all the steps in the correct order, but often leaves the clean laundry unfolded in a basket on the floor instead of putting his folded clothes away. What type of compound schedule, reinforcement schedule, might his dad use to reinforce him for putting his clothes away on the same day they were washed?
it looks like Penny's report card, lots of A's.
No doubt. Yes, you guys are brilliant. It is chained. So the order of doing the laundry matters. Each step is an SD for the next one. He must finish it completely within the same day in order to receive the reinforcement. Okay, so your clues there were steps and correct order, those kinds of things. So that is your hint on the mocks for chained. Tandem, if it was tandem, I don't know, it would be like, I don't know, he probably, there wouldn't be an order, or there wouldn't be a signal for what the next thing is. So maybe he just like does all the steps, but he doesn't know what to do next. So he just kind of muddles through it, and maybe, you know, he would figure it out on his own instead of.
It could be like his dad makes him build a shelf with no instructions to put his laundry on.
That is good. Who said that?
Lauren.
Lauren, brilliant. Yes, that is a good one. Yeah, his dad helps him build the shelf.
Or he gets his clothes blindfolded, you know, the clothes are the SD, and doesn't know where they're at, which is pretty much how our kids get the clothes anyway. So
I can't take
think-
full credit. Penny gave that example in the chat about IKEA furniture.
Yes, IKEA furniture, that is perfect.
I don't think you can make it into tandem. I think that's sort of the clue. We have very few tandem schedules of reinforcement because none of us like them, right? We all like our SDs in place, and there are clear SDs. Just being blind doesn't mean that there is no correct order. It just means you have problem seeing it. But we have so few tandem schedules of reinforcement because we just don't like them.
No, we don't like it.
We all want our structure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right, the next one. Here comes Cheery. Diamond switches between two self-contained classrooms. She purposefully trips her teachers so she can be nice and help them up. Miss Payne always thanks and hugs her afterward, but Miss Wise, in Miss Wise's class, she will ignore the incidents and keep teaching and talk to Diamond about maintaining safe feet at the end of class, about 50 minutes later. which schedule is at play? My thing is frozen. Oops. Yes, okay. Multiple. Good job, you guys. So multiple. So two schedules occur alternating sequence for the same behavior, right? And the SD is the teacher who is present, and it's associated with each of those schedules, okay? And they are independent of each other, and they are associated with the SD. Make sense? Okay. Chloe is in Miss Worthman's first grade class. She likes to show Miss Worthman how smart she is. When she raises her hand to answer a question, Miss Worthman sometimes calls on her immediately. Other times, Chloe can have her hand up for almost 5 minutes before her teacher notices. What type of reinforcement schedule is in place for Chloe? The answer is mixed. So reinforcement sometimes occurs on one schedule, and then sometimes occurs on the other schedule, but there's no SD to indicate which schedule is in place at any given time. The mix is tricky, right? But we know it's not alternative because it's not happening at the same time, right? We know it's not concurrent because there's only one behavior of raising your hand. And we know it's not multiple because Chloe doesn't know which schedule is in place. Okay, so no SD. All right, this is the last one. In preparation for the upcoming sports banquet, the girls' track coach will be choosing the team's MVP for the season. This athlete must consistently run 8 miles during practice and also have a personal best time of running a 6-minute mile. Which reinforcement schedule is at play here? The answer is conjunctive. So the athlete would need to meet both requirements to earn the reinforcer. Huh? Those are my examples. Now I'm going to switch back so I can see everybody. Hi, everybody. Okay, any other questions about compound schedules?
Will you be sharing this PowerPoint online in case I have a brain fart and forget examples?
I definitely can if Patrick can show me how to do that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Do what?
You know how to do that, right, buddy? You're my tech guy.
Do what? What I do?
Oh, she wants the PowerPoint.
Your PowerPoint?
Mm-hmm.
Just post it in Facebook.
Like under the files or something?
Yeah.
All right, Hillary, that's where you'll see it.
Share a file and it'll pop up and everything.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I know it is tricky. It's like tonight you might be like, yeah, okay, I kind of get it. But then, you know, all this other stuff in life get in the way, and then, you know, you got to review. So that is good.
That's exactly how it goes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Thank you so
Oh,
much, Karen. You're awesome. We so appreciate everything you
oh,
do.
you're welcome.
You were awesome. You were amazing. I was taking notes and just soaking it in.
Oh, good. And you presented on this several times, so that is a real compliment. Thank you.
So Lauren's asking a good question. She says, if there's one word to associate compound schedules, what would that be? So you go down a rabbit hole if you do that, because concurrent is choices, but so is alternative. So you do have to think of several keywords. So concurrent would be multiple reinforcers, multiple behaviors,
Mhm.
simultaneous choices. So there are several keywords.
I mean, the only compound part of it would be the different, like the FR, FI, VR, VI put together for the schedule. But it's not that simple as saying we're going to put two schedules together and it's a compound schedule. It's like Penny's right. You have to look at the whole scenario. Are they together? Are they successive? Do I have SDs? Do I not have SDs? It's a whole, and like how Karen put them together, of what kind of goes together, because it makes a big difference. And the best thing to kind of help it stick is look at things in your life, in your neck of the woods. What's do you have any multiple schedules going on? Yeah, you do. We all do. Do you have any concurrent ones? Karen just showed that we do. So how can you tie it into what you have going on? And that really helps with application.
And it's where I see people choose the wrong answer because they look for keywords such as or and then think, oh, it must be concurrent, but it could also be alternative, could be
Mhm.
many schedules. So
Yeah, that is very true. I would recommend, if you guys are still, if it's still kind of like hazy in your mind, really doing plotting them out, like what the characteristics are of each one. And if you notice, like on my slides, I always put the one with the SD on one side and the one without the SD on the other. So then you can, in your mind during the test, pull that up, and then you're like mixed, multiple mixed, multiples on this side. You just have to organize stuff like that so that you can pull it up real quick.
And ask yourself, what does it look like? What does a multiple schedule look like in that scenario? If it doesn't fit, then it's not the right answer. You just work your way down your choices. And if you already know which one it is, perfect. You're just matching up your thing. But don't so much look for key words, key phrases when it comes to schedules of reinforcement, because you're going to trip yourself up. Karen's right. Look at the whole scenario and what are they asking for? What are they looking for?
Yep. When are you getting reinforced? That kind of thing. You're so welcome, Penny. All right, you guys. Well, that is all I had. If you don't have any more questions, I'm sure we'll see each other on Zoom soon, probably for one of Patrick's brilliant things.
Thanks, Karen. See y'all later, guys.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.